Hi everyone, it's Kathy here. Welcome back to Kathy Loves to Scrap, and today it is Tasty Tuesday. We are documenting a delicious, relaxing coffee moment from the Windjammer marketplace on my last cruise. So today's video comes with a massive twist. I'm scraplifting this beautiful open space minimalist layout from Helen Ding, and now if you know my style, you know I love heavy layering, rich textures, and just adding a little bit more. So looking at all this bare white space on the layout usually scares me off, but today I wanted to show you how to do it. I'm pulling back the curtain on the game changer secret that will completely transform how you scrap lift. Today we're going to unpack the DNA extraction method. Okay, you see, scraplifting isn't about a literal copy and paste of shapes always. It's about extracting the visual DNA of what makes the original page work, like its structural balance, and making it your own. Remember, your layouts need to be yours. I'm going to show you how to take a minimalist flat grid and fill the gaps using rich dimension chipboard and paper distressing instead of just leaving it flat and bare. Because it's Tasty Tuesday, I'm also breaking a cardinal rule of the food layouts by using the sensory palette rule. Most people scrapbook a coffee or food moment by buying literal coffee themed paper or matching the exact color of the foods, but that completely flattens out your photos when it comes to food. Instead, I'm going to mix and match the vibe and texture of the experience. I'm going to capture the warm, bustling, rich atmosphere of the Windjammer coffee station. If you've ever been on a cruise, you know what I'm talking about. Those washy-washy people. We are skipping the literal icons and using deep patterns, heavy cardstocks, and layered elements to mimic that cozy premium cruise ship texture. So let's grab your favorite hot cuppa, clear up a space on your scrapbook table, and let's extract some design DNA to make a minimalist layout into a layered, textured, tasty masterpiece. So let's go and get scrapping. As you saw, I'm combining Tasty Tuesday with May I Scraplift You, which I really don't normally do in the whole grand scheme of my scrapping. I generally like to keep them separate, but as time is kicking on and May is kicking on and I'm running out of time, so I am lifting Helen Ding, as I stated, and I loved her tags on her layout. So I am using a page Taylor Evans paper because we've all got them around, papers with lots of tags printed on them. And I wanted to show how I was going to use these. Now, as I said in the formula with the DNA, I'm using the feel, the richness, the vibrancy of the Windjammer. It's very bright of a morning when you go into the Windjammer. There's everybody in all their holiday glory, and you usually have the brilliant blue of the sea and the windows all around. So I really wanted to capture that feel and vibe with this, and these tags really do that for me. And I'm going to layer them up just as Helen did. Of course, I'm extracting the DNA from her main layout, so I'm keeping the tags, which are the horizontal elements that she has on her layout, and I'm keeping the 3 photos, but the difference is that my photos are larger, and so therefore my tags placement needs to be larger. So I am taking, as I said, the core of her layout and I'm developing it into my own. And this is really the difference about scraplifting. You can go step by step, core for core, minute for minute, piece for piece. But the whole idea is that if you keep doing all that sort of scrap lifting, you're eventually going to lose your own style and you lose your own ability to create. So I like to use them as a kickoff point, and I like to scrap lift. And trust me, I've been there where I've done the absolute literal get cranky if I can't get it right scrap lift as well. So now I've learnt that it's the elements of the scrap lift that I need to focus on, not the actual full replica of it. So I am using the 10 tags like she has, and I am using thread and staples like Helen has. But as I said, my colors are really, really bright because, you know, I love bright, and my sizes are really big because I like big. And so I really like to fill my pages. White space scares me, as I said, so I actually always do more. Now I'm distressing the edges here and adding texture by just using my black chalk, and I'm just putting that in around the edges, and it's just to lift it up off the background and give it that little bit of a lift. It also does tie in with my photos because I do have a bit of black in my photos because of my shirt, and that also helps to ground the whole layout together. And as you can see, all of the patterns and all the colors really work nicely in this combination. So I'm going to layer them out and I'm going to run them across the page, and I'm just going to zigzag them like Helen has. I have the blue and white dots at the top, which are perfect because they are very blue vibey for the ocean, and I just like that I have got the contrast between the blue and the yellow. Now that I've done that, I'm going to run across the middle this piece as a border. I did use my border punch there to punch it out, and that's got the repeat of the scallop with the dots in it, so that picks up that polka dots. And I'm going to run a little strip of yellow across here in the middle just to break the base, and you can just see how those tags sit in nicely at the top there. Now I have my 3 photos, and as I said, my photos are larger than Helen's. Helen, I think she did hers as 3 by 4s, maybe 3 by 4s, 3.5 by 4s, whatever. And they're about half the size of my photos, but I always print big because I like to see the photo on the page. And so I will trim these down a little bit more. They originally were 5 by 3s, and then I did them full size, which means that they were reduced so that the whole photo got onto the print. Then I am trimming them down even further, and I'm taking off a further 1/2 inch. It works out all the way around so that it just fits in nicely. So I think they work out to be ultimately just 4 by 3. So I think that works nicely, and it gives enough detail into them so that you can see. Now I've got the 3 steps of my coffee enjoyment there, and you can see the photos are like a sequence. I did take these. They're selfies actually. Pretty good. I was playing around with my camera, doing some selfies, and I just like the way they came. And as Tasty Tuesday this month is about that coffee moment, I thought where else but on the cruise would a coffee moment be better captured. So just adding in the next row of tags, which are necessary for Helen's layout, but also I love, love, love the texture that they provide. So I've got that bulky texture through the thread that's going through the tag holes. And remember, it's really important that you dress your tags. You don't want to leave them rooty tooty nudies. So I always try and dress my tags up. And I've got different yarn going through, and I've got some ribbon and I've got some jute, and I think that all comes together nicely. I went and I matted each of the photos larger than the photo so that they will overlap, and I've used some checks and a little bit of black in there just to tie in a little bit more of the colouring, but to give that vibrancy of that feeling of the Windjammer Cafe in the cruise mode, as you can see. Now, if I really wanted to follow the photos truly, I would have done a really black background with lots of yellow. I do have lots of yellow in it, but I have used the black as a tamer instead of being a center focus point. And if you look at the food on the plate and the cup, they're the colors that have been really, you know, they're more in your yellows and your browns, but I've gone with the bright blues and the pinks and the feel of that whole you know, the whole celebratory feeling of being on a holiday. Now I added in the word a bit down there that says that was great. I've got some chipboard here that are coffee cups and a take note, and I do have another wordy bit which I'm going to add into the middle here that I want to add, and it's also another wordy bit that Helen had over to the left hand side, which I really wanted to add in because, you know, when you're doing a scrap lift, you do want to add the key elements of the layout. That's the DNA of it. You don't want to miss totally when you're scrap lifting, because you do want to pay homage to the person who has created. So the words I've got are so good, which I'm putting down to the left hand side, and in the middle I'm going to put the word approved. So I have take note approved, meaning the coffee was approved, and the whole holiday was approved really. Didn't think I was going to get there at one stage, but I was so excited when it actually started to kick off, and this I think was day 3, breakfast of day 3. I really am liking how this is coming together. Yes, mine now is a lot busier than the original. There's less white space on mine than on Helen's. However, the core elements of hers are there, and that's the beauty of being able to take that DNA of the layout, you know, the main structure from Helen, and creating it into my own. And you too can do this for any scrap lift that you do, and this is what we should be doing when we're doing a scrap lift. We should be paying homage to the person who has created, but we also need to be true to ourselves. And so I love bright colors, and so my layout has lots of bright colors. I'm using some chippy strips here because they're the same height of the chipboard, and that's really important too, because you keep that same consistency across the layout. And I'm putting that in behind that word phrase approved so that it pops up and will be the same height as the chipboard and therefore doesn't get lost in the layout. I'm going to now prepare my chipboard, which is really important because you know I don't like raw chipboard. I have a hard time just having it sitting there in that raw state. Sometimes I would, if it was a rustic layout or a grungy layout, I might leave it in the raw state, but not very often would I do that. I'm going to colour it up here, as you can see, with the Distress Oxide, and this is Squeezed Lemonade because it is that lighter yellow, and I just want it to be part of. I don't want it to overtake the whole layout. If I'd gone with a really, really bright layout yellow, it really would have overpowered, I think. And any other colour, I believe I would have lost it in with the rainbow that are the tags. So I'm just making sure I'm getting a solid full coverage with that yellow. And then I'm going to add some water here because, you know, waste not, what not. And I'm going to use this to splatter lightly on my layout over the corners. And you really don't get to see it until you look at the close-ups. And it's only faint, and that's what I wanted it to be. So I cleaned up my board here, ready for the layout, and we're getting into the final pieces. And we're just going to add that title and those chipboard pieces because that's important. And once that's done, I have pretty much covered my scrap lift and Tasty Tuesday. Now there are a whole lot of people playing along. This is a May I Scrap Lift You tied in with a Tasty Tuesday, so I will have both playlists down below. It's very important that you go and pay homage to all the people who are playing along with both. I am grateful for all of the creators who joined me for Tasty Tuesday. This is my hop that I created for 2026, and each month I give them a prompt. This one was Brewed to Perfection, which is about tea or coffee. So I'm excited to go and see what everybody else is doing. I'm sure there's going to be some amazing scrap lifting happening because people are tying it in with May I Scrap Lift You, but also there'll be original ones as well, and I can't wait to see those. And I've just added in some faux stitching to lift that paper up off the background. I'm also going to draw in a messy border just to finish off my layout. You know I need to finish off my layouts with that border. I like it. It just adds a little bit extra to the overall feel of it. Now that string is really annoying me, the jute and things. I like it that I want it to be flowy, but I will adhere it in places because I don't want it to just flop once it's in the album. And if I stick it down where I want it, it looks natural and it's just going to go there and stay there permanently. I'm just putting a little bit of weight on there for that couple of seconds that it needs to adhere. And I love that it's all going in all different directions and filling in that space and that texture. It's just an extra vibe on the layout. It's that three-dimensional thing that we add to give that you know, lumpy bumpy effect to your layouts. Do you use lumpy bumpy layouts or do you like them flat? Either way, it's your layout, but I'm curious to find out what your preferred style is. So don't forget to put a comment down in the comment box. You know I'm always going to get back to you, and I really do like the interactivity that we get when we do this. So here's my lift of Helen's layout. I am actually pleased with how it turned out. Yes, my photos are bigger, but my tags are in there. Yes, there's not much white space like Helen's, but I like that my layout is full. beautiful. I love that you can see all of the different pieces of paper in there. There's so many things happening on there, but yet the photos are still the masterpiece, and that is the priority when we are doing our layouts. So thanks everyone once again. As I said, there will be 2 playlists down below, one for Tasty Tuesday and one for May I Scraplift You. And I hope you have a great creative week getting scrappy with your supplies. And don't forget the DNA method and, you know, the feel of the vibe of the place that you're having your food. Thanks everyone. Stay creative. Here's my next video and I'll see you there real soon.